during the studio case. My hustle was, I was a broker, let's say. I wasn't a drug dealer. I just knew a lot of drug dealers. And I had a recording studio.
This guy from the Familia, young guy, I bring this guy to Dale, you know. And then the guy is like, oh man, I got the right connection. This guy he go for, you understand?
¿Y dónde? México. Sí, México. ¿Dónde era? Sí. Muy peligroso, yo no quiero problemas con nadie. Muy peligroso. Yeah, so tú tienes cosas contigo. ¿Me tienes que? ¿Son onza o qué? ¿Onza tiene? Vende otro carro. De perico, ¿sí?
We start talking. But I stick to my plan of not pushing in this first deal, not talking too big, but listening a lot to what this guy wants to do. What does he have?
¿Y cuánto? ¿Sí? Come on, ¿Ah? No descuenta. Sí, pero yo puedo, I can give him like a discount in here. He can come in and rent out something. Didn't tell me to be a rapper or whatever. Yeah, you put it on that, man.
And so during this thing, the real purpose of this, it's like a first date. You have to win confidence.
Leo, he was a actor in that moment. You understand? He more thinking of vaquero. He don't like it. He was a gangster for real.
Bien, sí. Amigos. Oh, no.
And he begins to talk quite freely with us. And what he wants is he wants to really get us to trust him and to start doing these big deals. And he wanted us to meet his brother, El Flaco. And they wanted to open up what they call a line to D.C.
No, pero sí, es que la cosa como a mí me gustaría tratar con alguien directo, con una persona. Sí, yo sé. Pero I can take it to like the middle guy. I got a lot of people, but what he can do, we can help him to get rid of it. So he doesn't have to meet a lot of people, he can leave it here with us. Pero siempre cuando me está diciendo que son playas de dinero, porque mi cabeza está abajo, que le digo que hay.
You know that?
Say that he can bring you whatever you want, but I always let you guys do it with the money, you know. It's a problem for him. Bro,
We knew that the cartel was a major source of narcotics coming into D.C. One selling point to the command staff was that we do not want the cartel to have a stronghold in D.C. So if they don't sell to us, they're gonna sell to someone else. And that was kind of the leeway to say, okay, we kind of need to do this to stop this group from trying to come in D.C.
We decided finally, I'll tell you what, bring us a kilogram of cocaine and we'll have most of the money here, and then the rest of the money we'll bring down to El Flaco ourselves. That way I had this guy verified that he was real. The only problem was I didn't have any money. So I had to come up with 32,000 for 1 kilogram of cocaine. And these guys wouldn't sell anything less. Our normal deal was we'd spend 3,000 or 4,000 on cocaine and then trust them to bring a bunch of kilos and we arrest them. So we didn't have to spend the money. Well, this time I had to find $32,000.
We want to buy a key to show good faith. A whole key. And the key, like $32,000. You know, that's a lot of money to let walk. If the guy decides he ain't gonna work with us, that money gone, right? That's a lot of money.
You got the supervisors that are trying to make sure that the money, you know, it's government taxpayer money, that it's not wasted and it's not used inappropriately. And then you have the folks like Dale who are working and they're like, I need this money to make this case. And Dale was so committed to getting the most important person in the chain as possible that I am sure that that was a frustration for him, not to be able to get enough money.
I call the FBI, no. We call the DA, no. They say, do you know these guys? You know, yeah, it's Flaco, you know, I know these guys. You don't know anything? No, hang up the phone. I'm begging the police department. Hey, police department, will you give me $32,000? No. What do? We had some, at the time, immigration guys that were trying to work gangs and drugs and all that. And they came around and we said, hey, we got this great deal with these cartel guys. And they, of course, were having tons of trouble with the cartels.
And if you know Dale, he's a good salesman. He can sell you to sew off your shoes, off your own shoes. You think you got a good deal.
They went in with us, and they believed us, and they got us the money. And so what happened was, we had this guy come back. He actually showed up with a kilo.
Big boy, you got the money? Come on, you bring it.
We handed him $25,000, and now we said, we'll owe you $7,000, but we'll bring it down to North Carolina. We'll meet your brother, we'll give you the $7,000, and then we can talk about future deals, how much we're gonna do. So we find out we're gonna go meet El Flaco. So I'm kind of picturing, we're gonna go into this kind of dangerous, seedy, tough-looking bar, and so we say, hey, we'll meet you anywhere. We're trying to set up all the surveillance and everything. And this guy wants to meet us at Applebee's.
Applebee's, a little restaurant called Applebee's. It's like you bring your family, your kids.
He comes in, he's got with him a little entourage. He's got 3 or 4 guys with him. He says, let's get a booth. It's like not the setting I expect.
Now you got the cartel, Mexicans, and they in a booth.
And we start talking drugs. What we arranged for was next, we were just gonna get methamphetamine from them. But they told us that we were gonna need to meet them in Atlanta the next time. We said Atlanta? Said Atlanta is where all of our source is. The only thing is they say you gotta have a hidden compartment in your car available, because when you come down, we're gonna pack the hidden compartment and you're gonna go home. If we didn't have a hidden compartment, they wouldn't give it to us. Of course I don't have permission. Who would allow you to cut up a car that's owned by the Metropolitan Police Department? We just did it without anybody knowing. We went to a friend of ours, owned a body shop. He cut the hole, he put it in there, worked out great. It looked great, and we convinced our bosses that we could use it for future deals. We drive down to Atlanta, Georgia. We go down with our team. Now we're taking with us all these DC policemen, and you know, we're a ragtag group. It's a bunch of guys. Lieutenant Bentley goes down with us, and we drive 12 hours. We still don't have enough money to fly, so we're just using our cars and driving down.
Now we really was into the cartel. And we had immigration, we had Georgia law enforcement, we had DEA, we had everybody on board, and they wanted to identify who was in Georgia, they wanted to identify the houses that were the refinery houses. Everybody was like, yeah, we can do this, we can do this.
I remember being very concerned when he left the jurisdiction. I remember we had to rely on our federal partners for assistance in those cases. And I also remember Dale being very matter-of-fact about the way that he was going about meeting these folks, gaining their trust, and then ultimately making the case that he did.
So that became the plan. We would go to Georgia, they would front us crystal meth, and we would bring it back to D.C., we would sell it, and then we would give them the money, and we would get bigger and bigger and bigger. That was the plan Dale had sold them on, you know.
We pull up to this hotel, and the cartel guy comes to the front door of this crappy room. He looks out, and I'm thinking, this is in every bad movie there is. We're gonna get killed as soon as we walk in here.
Dale, Aldo guy, Aldo Hutchins, we come inside, and me. it's a small room, hotel room, you know, and the guy, he really got the crystal example. He got a big bag because he wanted to show us the example of the crystal man. I don't remember get guns. I think so Flaco always got a gun with him, always.
I can tell you, one of the guys in that room thought we were the police. He didn't like it. He didn't like us. And he wanted, I think, to get us.
And he come with a big aluminum, and he put aluminum, and he started blowing the crystal meth, all the smoke.
I got a little nervous because this crystal meth was like through the room. It was a lot of smoke.
In that moment, that guy, he do it on purpose. Do you understand? So we see what reactions we do. So it's still kind of like, oh, don't trust us too much.
I'm trying not to breathe this crystal meth, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get a positive drug test, I'm gonna get arrested. Plus, I thought that stuff's dangerous, you know? I think it's bad for you, so the last thing I wanna do is get something in me that's toxic or dangerous. So anyway, we get out of there, we give them the keys to the car. They leave in the car. So they leave for a little while. The fun part was that the immigration guys had put a beacon or something inside the vehicle.
Eagle, yeah, you're behind them.
So they were able to follow where the vehicle went. They had a plane out, and they could watch the exact house where the meth lab was. The cartel guys at the house loaded the drugs, and then they came back. When they called us, they told us, we will leave the car at the Home Depot parking lot. Remember, for them, I'm just a middleman. I'm gonna bring the drugs back to Washington, sell them to my buyers, and then, and only then, bring them back the $150,000 that I owe them. So we took the car and we drove back to Washington. We agreed to meet him a few days later in North Carolina, and everyone was confident we would get them the $150,000, and then we would move on to bigger deals.
So now it's like, Dale, can we get money? No, Dale, can't get no more money. We got to make this arrest.
If they would have only let me spend that $100,000, we would have had La Familia been running up and down the expressway to Washington forever. I mean, these guys had a lot of drugs.
Our command staff in D.C., they already were a little leery dealing with the cartel. I mean, the benefits are good, but that while the danger, no one wanted to say at the end that people had got killed, got hurt dealing with the cartel. So even though they kind of agreed, it was already in their background. We want to just go ahead and we get this done, we get the press, and we be finished.
We go down to North Carolina to arrest El Flaco. What happened was the guys at immigration, the federal agents, they did a great job of following them, remember, to that house where they kept all the drugs. So they did the surveillance, they wrote search warrants, they did a good plan. And we orchestrate with the guys in Atlanta. We say, okay, get your warrant and get ready. As soon as we arrest the guys in North Carolina, then you hit the house. And when we get down there, we get a hotel room, we wire it up. We got the cops, the federal agent, and the local deputies, and Lieutenant Bentley are in the next room.
¿Tú tienes eso? No. Es una máquina para contar dinero. Mira, se hizo con eso. Yeah. Esto no es. ¿Tú viste antes o no? No. No, no tienes. No. Mira.
Myself, I was in another room down the hallway with the immigration arrest team and the local arrest team. They were set up in the rooms, so when Dale came out, they were gonna come in.
I had a money machine there. I showed him this money machine. He'd never heard of it. I thought that would be something he'd be used to. Tried to look really legit. So I was supposed to give him like $150,000. I had like $5,000.
Once they did that, then we would go give the go signal to people in Georgia, other places in North Carolina, in Virginia, to go ahead and execute the other warrants. Right, that was the plan.
Problem is, when we walk into this deal, this tense moment, we get the call that, in fact, they just hit the house in Georgia.
Search word!
And remember, the whole time we're sitting there, I'm watching his phones, because I'm thinking, is he gonna get a text message? Is he gonna get a call? What's gonna happen here? So here I am. He could get a call from his co-defendants, the co-conspirators back in Georgia, that the cops are here, your guys are cops.
It could have got ugly, because last thing you want to do had to go in there and extract Dale out of a situation, because you got gunfire, the guy got guns on them, could have guns on them. You know, you got Dale the Miller, your law enforcement, and you know, it got ugly. It's very dangerous. You know, I take my hat off to Dale. Man, I mean, it's like, you gotta be a special person to be able to do that. You're dealing with killers.
Él tiene otro sitio, otra cosa. Él no puede esperar mucho tiempo. Sí, por él.
And I finally decide he's comfortable enough, I'm gonna walk out and go get the guys. I walk out of the room, and I think the guys are gonna come, and instead there's nobody there. There's nobody in the hallway. He's still in there, and I'm thinking he's gonna leave any minute. Looking, I decide to walk down. I knock on the door of the hotel room where my cover team is, and I swear they come to the door and they say, yes. So what do you mean, yes? The guy's right there. Would you please go arrest him?
Please put your hands! Get on the ground! Hands on the ground! Get fucking ground! Go room!
We got the biggest seizure we ever got of crystal meth in D.C. police career. What had happened was apparently they transported across the border in liquid form, and then these guys, the guys who would at the house in Atlanta, would take it and dry it out with fans and everything, and it would turn into these like shards of ice type thing.
I remember that being like the biggest methamphetamine seizure I want to say that there ever was in Washington, D.C. And so this cartel, you know, being the way that they are, figured that this was a place where they could make a lot of money, is in Washington, D.C. And I got to tell you, methamphetamine before then and since then has really not taken hold in Washington, D.C. like it has in some other communities. And you might want to attribute that to Dale in this case that he made. I mean, he got him good. He got a real big seizure, and some folks were held accountable for that. So maybe the cartel said, well, I mean, can't get away with it in D.C.
I'd always lived on the edge. I lived on the edge on the rules, and I was always on the edge of getting myself into something, and danger-wise too. I always was feeling very nervous for all the others involved. I mean, just the thought that something could happen to the officers. To me, I always thought it would have ruined my life. I mean, I imagine you could come back from that, but I thought, I just can't let that happen. During the studio case, we had one of the guys that was coming in there, he was introduced to us, he was selling guns, and big guns. Chris Washington was his name. I think by the end, I think we bought 60, count them, firearms from this guy.
What do you think you're first? Hey, people, I got something big for you, fucker. Where you get a little brother?
Chris Washington had told us he could get us explosives, he could get us big military-grade weapons, all this kind of thing. So we wanted to do that. We wanted to see who's this connection, how could he get this? One day, the other detective with me got on the phone to set up a purchase from Chris Washington. And in fact, Chris forgot to hang up the phone and left the phone line open. And so Chris told the other guys that when he got in the door, the first one he was gonna shoot was me. He was gonna shoot the white guy. He was gonna kill me, and then they were gonna come in and they were gonna get the other guys for money and they were gonna kill him and get out of there. We heard this all by accident, me, I believe, by God's grace. We heard this, and it really did spare our lives.
Get a call from Dale. Hey, man, hear what's going on. He said, the guy called, they gonna rob her and they gonna kill me. I said, what? If that phone had never left open, they could came and did what they wanted to do. Certain thing happened to Dale that could easily went the other way. And by the grace of God, it didn't.
They then got, a bunch of the young guys, and what they did was we told him to come meet us, and then when he drove up in his car, they grabbed him away from our location and locked him up without any gunfire and no shootout.
Dale went to his limit. So, but it was probably best for all of us that he didn't go much further because, like I say, you need a little bit of luck in those operations too. So you don't want the luck to run out.
Even with the wrinkles and shit, I'm like, some of it is just the fact that you were sitting here like this versus
I'll tell you the truth, it was a crazy world. People were trying to fight to survive. You get in fights with these guys and...
We were fighting every
it.
night. You go out there and try to make a arrest, you had to fight. We had over 300-some homicides every year. And that was like in 89,
Yeah, 89, 90, 91.
91.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we got up to 499.
Yep.
Yeah. 498, I think I looked at it.
We had incredible violence in Washington, D.C. And then as we moved into the 2000s, there was a lot less violence, and it started to be reduced. You can't tell me that Dale and his folks didn't have an impact. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to say there's different reasons why the violence subsided, but one of those reasons is the work that those folks did.
So like I was saying, when I met Dale, Dale was like taboo because he was from another group of narcotics, and they thought Dale had got a source kill. I got to know Dale. Dale was great. Dale had some crazy ideas, though. Every time I come around, he had a storefront, a special buy.
The reason I retired was because I had made kind of a thought with God or a commitment with God when I started that I was going to do this for a few years, but I was going to spend most of my life in the ministry. And I spent all those years, about 29 years, locking people up. And I thought I was only 50 and I could spend the next phase of my life setting people free spiritually.
When he was finally decided he was going to leave, and he would talk about, his essentially his path in life was to be in this ministry. I tried to talk him out of it. But, in hindsight, thinking back, I got to tell you, there probably was a little bit of relief knowing that Dale was going on and he was going to be safe, and we weren't going to put him in that place where he could get hurt or killed.
I know he regrets it. Up until probably recently, still trying to figure out how to re-enter, and you just can't. I keep telling them that. You can't go back. Like, you left at the peak of when, you know, really doing really good things there, but you can't go back. So yeah, I feel kind of bad that he retired.
It was not easy for Dale to retire. Dale would still call me 11 o'clock at night, or I still got that itch. Dale, you've been retired for 3 years. What do you mean you still have that itch? And he said, I still got that itch, man. I still got that itch. I want to get out there. I want to be out there working cases, you know, maybe running another business. And, all right, Dale, bye.
Dale would never be able to do what he did then now. There's so much oversight from supervisors and MPD, from the U.S. Attorney's Office, the decisions that are made, the records that need to be kept, how confidential informants are treated, undercovers, things of that nature. Dale would never have been able to do what he did then now.
Politicians, people in command, they don't want to have the liability of it go wrong, you know. And I understand that, because now you live in a different culture.
There is a kind of reaction to see maybe what was felt to be a response to an epidemic is no longer as justified anymore, or it was too much of an overreaction, or it was abused. But, you know, there's always a pendulum. If crime continues to rise in the District of Columbia and in urban cities in the United States, people could be kind of looking back and say, well, how did we deal with past episodes of crime? How do we deal with past episodes of drugs flowing into a community? Now we have fentanyl flowing into communities across the country. People may say, well, they may ask Dale, what did you do back in that day? And he says, well, we used the storefront, so you just do not know.
Yeah, food free. Fort Myers Commissary and Code 3. They give us the food, we give it to you. Come on out here and get some, man.
When I retired and became a pastor, I wanted to start new things. We started an outreach to try to help the police and the community get along better.
¿Dónde eres? Honduras, Azteca. ¿Cuánto tiempo está viviendo aquí? 2 meses solo. Oh, wow. Bienvenidos.
Call it Code 3 to try to bring policemen to the community and the community to the police and try to change police perception.
If I'd have met you in '89, I was running around here buying drugs, I'd have tried to lock you up.
You probably would have.
And you would.
I was trying to avoid you.
Yeah, that's right. And here we are standing here by choice.
Today.
Now, go figure.
As a unit, as one.
Yeah, as one, that's right. Half of our staff are people who were former criminals, and half of our staff were former police officers. So it's kind of fun. So we do after-school programs, we do outreach to the community, we do food where the police are doing it. We have the police go in and clean up the neighborhoods we used to police, you know. Yeah.
It's not too favorable to keep going in the same direction.
Right,
so
right,
today
right.
I'm trying to make changes that's going to give me a little more purpose and more self-gratification. You know what I mean? It ain't no more about the material thing.
Right,
it's more
right,
so
right.
today about doing things that make me feel good at night.
Yeah. One concern I'd have with the whole story, whenever people hear, yo, you're a policeman and a pastor, that they have some idea that I had it all figured out, that I did it all right, or that I was always in balance. That's ridiculous. I of course was not. My mind is as devious and rotten as everybody else's. But why I did this, was it driven by my anxieties? Was it driven by my faith? Was it driven by my desire to succeed or whatever? Sure, probably all those things. Humans are complicated people. I don't have a good answer for everything, but looking back, I'm overall very glad at what God has done with my life, but I certainly know that I could have done more in either arena had I only done that.